Okay, so you booked your kayak trip with Motor City Paddle Club. Awesome.
That's great.
But maybe you're a little nervous about,
Tipping over.
yeah. So in this deep dive, we're going to make sure you stay upright and having fun out there.
Definitely. It's all about balance and really getting a feel for how the kayak moves.
Right. And I think a lot of people think kayaking is all about, like, upper body strength, but
Not at
there's
all.
so much more to it.
It's much more about technique.
Exactly. Technique. So let's break it down. First things first, posture. You can't build a house on a shaky foundation, right?
Right.
So think of your posture as that foundation.
Yeah, you want to sit up nice and straight, shoulders relaxed, and engage that core. It's all about the core.
Core strength. Why is that so important?
Well, your core muscles are key for stability. They're like, I guess you could say they're like your internal corset, helping you stay upright.
I love that analogy. And what about those foot pegs? I feel like those are important too.
Oh, absolutely. They help you connect with the kayak, give you a better sense of control. It's like having a solid base.
Okay, so posture is key.
Mm.
Core is engaged. We're connected to the kayak. So then where do the arms come in?
Arms are mainly for propulsion, for moving the kayak forward, but it's that core strength that keeps you balanced.
Gotcha. So it's not about paddling like crazy. It's about that strong core foundation.
Exactly. And, when you have good posture, it naturally engages your core. So it all works together.
It's all connected. Makes sense. Now, what about weight distribution in the kayak? Like, how do we stay centered?
Yeah, you don't want to be leaning too far to one side or the other. You want to think about that center line running right down the middle of your kayak.
Yeah.
And the closer you stay to that center line, the more stable you'll be.
So if I'm feeling wobbly, I should try to sit lower.
Yeah, you can try that. It's like lowering the center of gravity on a sports car.
Oh, that makes sense. More stability. Now, I got to ask about something that's always intrigued me. The role of the hips in kayaking. What's the deal with that?
Well, think about it. You don't want to be all stiff and rigid in the kayak. You want to be loose and flexible.
So it's not just about sitting there like a statue.
Nope. Your hips are a ball and socket joint, right?
Right.
So they allow your upper body to move independently of the kayak. It's almost like a dance, moving with the water.
I like that. Dancing with the kayak.
Yeah.
So we've got the posture, the core, the loose hips. But what happens when things get a little rush? When we encounter some choppy water.
That's when we bring in the paddle as more than just a way to move forward.
Right,
It
yeah.
becomes our safety net, using what we call bracing techniques.
Okay, tell me about those.
Sure. There's the low brace, which is what you'd use in calmer water.
Okay.
So let's say you start to tip to one side. You take the paddle, hold it horizontally just above the water, and press down on the side you're leaning towards.
Oh, I see. So it's like an extra support to keep you from going all the way over.
Exactly. And then for rougher conditions, there's the high brace.
Oh, okay. How's that different?
So for the high brace, you want to hold the paddle a bit closer to your body and angle it slightly upward. It's kind of like holding a shield.
I see.
And if you feel yourself tipping, you quickly extend the paddle toward the water on the side you're leaning toward, using the flat surface to brace yourself.
So low brace for calm water, high brace for when things get a little wild.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Now, I'm guessing practicing these techniques is pretty important.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more confident you'll be. And a good way to practice is to try some controlled leaning and tilting in the kayak. We call this edging.
Edging, got it.
So, tilt the kayak onto its side a little bit, and you'll start to get a feel for its stability and where that tipping point is.
So it's like getting to know the kayak's personality,
All right.
knowing its limits.
Exactly. And it helps you build confidence because you know how far you can push it before you need to use those brace techniques.
I can see how that would be really helpful. So we're getting a feel for the kayak itself, but we also need to be aware of our surroundings, right? Like what the water's doing.
Oh, definitely. You got to be observant, like a detective.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Look for changes in the current or any waves coming toward you. Anticipate those changes.
So we're not fighting against the water.
Nope. We're working with it. Think about it like riding a bike over bumps. You adjust and flow with the terrain.
That's a great analogy. Okay, so we've covered a lot. Posture, core strength, weight distribution, loose hips, brace techniques, edging, reading the water. Anything else we need to keep in mind to stay balanced in the kayak?
I think that pretty much covers it. The key is to practice and become familiar with all these different elements. And remember, the more you kayak in different conditions, the better you'll become at adapting.
So it's a journey.
Absolutely. It's about the experience and learning as you go.
And this makes me think, It's not just about kayaking, is it? I mean, these skills, this balance, this adaptability, we can use those in everyday life too, right?
Exactly. It's all about finding that center, staying flexible, and navigating the challenges that come our way.
That's a great takeaway. So as you head out on your adventure with Motor City Paddle Club, remember to have fun, stay curious, and keep learning.
Enjoy the journey.
We'll see you out on the water.